everyone, it's Melissa Malcolm. Thank you so much for your response to my first two videos. There seems to be a lot of excitement among you out there about me making this type of training so accessible to managers and supervisors in your businesses. I've gone from having no YouTube channel to having over 100 views by the time we're filming this third video. Your email responses and questions have been great, and it's just proving to me what I've thought I've known for so many years, that entrepreneurs and managers need and want common sense help and support for managing their employees. I am so excited by your response so far. So let's dive into today's two issues. Those are, what is discrimination, and how do I start addressing gossip in the workplace? Now, we're talking about gossip in the workplace because so many of you have asked me about it, and I'm bringing up discrimination at the same time because so many of the emails asking about gossip have started by saying, now, not to be sexist, but, and then you tell me your story. That brings us to this definition. Discrimination is treating one person worse than another person in a similar circumstance based on their protected characteristic. And protected characteristic is race, gender, religion, all of those things that we can talk about later. But this is what I want you to be vigilant about as a business owner. So the first lesson for today is to always be honest with yourself before you give that disciplinary action, and to find out, just ask yourself honestly, when I give the discipline, is this employee going to feel like they have been discriminated against based on this definition of discrimination? It's not, I'm a woman and I disciplined a man, or I'm a white person and I have disciplined somebody of another race. That's not discrimination. Discrimination is treating people differently in similar circumstances based on their protected characteristic. So, having said that, gotten that out of the way, being sure that we're all on the same page, let's move on to workplace gossip. Now, I am sure that a lot of you have bad memories coming to mind around the topic of workplace gossip. Now, let me be clear. I am not talking about honest disagreements. In the workplace, people do things differently. There's always going to be suggestions, tensions, personality conflicts. That's not what this is about. I am talking about when you have employees who complain and gripe about their coworkers, about their peers, not to help their peers and coworkers, but just to pick on them, just to make them look bad. And it ends up becoming like the favorite activity of the office to see who can catch this employee that's being picked on doing something wrong, just so they can be the person to be the first one to tell how they have more proof how incompetent this person is. That's what I'm talking about. So, let's talk about it in the context of a typical business. Let's say, in your business, that one of your assistant managers has gotten really lazy. And what happens is your other assistant managers are complaining about this assistant manager at shift change. Now, what makes it more problematic is that as you're walking through, say, your fast food restaurant, your entry-level employees are overhearing these three managers complain about this manager being lazy. So what are you going to do about that? You have to nip this behavior in the bud. If you don't, it is going to spiral out of control. So, as you see these three, just walk through the office and tell them, hey, let's talk about that later, and just move on through. You've stopped the conversation, and you're going to go in the private part of the restaurant and then have your set the expectations conversation with these three assistant managers who are gossiping. When you set that expectation for your managers, you're going to say, look, we don't complain about people and not give them a chance to correct it. I don't want to see you, especially in front of these other employees, talking about how bad this assistant manager is. Y'all need to just go to her and give her a chance to improve. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you bring it to the GM's attention or you bring it to my attention as the business owner. We don't talk about it for everybody else to hear. Now, here's what I know a lot of you are out there doing, because I hear it from you day after day. Your employees are gossiping, complaining about each other, and you try to lead by example. We hear that a lot, lead by example. It does not work in this situation, and here's why. It is like asking your employees to read your mind. And in addition to that, when you have been silent after you have heard your employees complain and gossip about each other, you are actually encouraging them to do the opposite of what you expect. Because once you hear them gossip and complain and you don't correct them, what you're really encouraging them to do by not saying anything is that that's okay. What I just saw you doing is fine because I didn't correct you. So what I want you to do is try this. When you get these assistant managers together, you have to make sure that somebody in this chain of command has to talk to this assistant manager, but you also have to go the extra step, and these assistant managers need to let the entry-level employees know that what they were doing, what the entry-level employees overheard, is not okay. And I want to suggest that if you can convince your assistant managers to do that themselves, it's going to be 10 times as effective. Get them to say, hey, learn from my mistake. Now, if you focus on the problem of gossip in your workplace, if you have these conversations just a couple of times, you are going to start to turn that around in your workplace. You will see the culture of gossip and complaining change because you've told them what to replace it with. And then if they don't, we're going to go back to that progressive discipline. Remember that from the first video? This is the key to making everything work in your workplace. Set the expectations, and if your employees do the opposite of what you expect them to do, then you start to move through progressive discipline. If you avoid setting the expectations, particularly with gossip, the gossip is just going to erode the morale in your office. I'm sure you've all seen it, all work somewhere where that happens. So, I know this is a lot. There's a whole lot going on in your mind. Maybe you just don't know where to start. There are so many things going on in your workplace. You don't know which one to focus on first. Maybe your managers are the problem, and you don't know how to set the expectation when your managers are the ones setting the bad example. So what I want you to do is join me on this journey. I'm offering to you today a 4-part webinar to teach you exactly how to get started down this path. So let me show you what we're going to cover. There's so much I want to cover. I know there's a lot written on this page. But what we're going to do is a 4-part webinar starting Tuesday, November 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through GoToTraining actually. And these are going to be recorded. So if you can join me live, great. I want to take your questions. I want to train you. I want to let you walk through giving one of these formal disciplinary actions. I want you to tell me your vision, tell me the goals for your employees. We're going to talk about things you want to eliminate in the workplace. We're going to schedule how you're going to do that throughout 2015. But if you'll join me on this journey, you are going to walk out with a strategic plan. So these 4 topics. So Tuesday the 18th, making your employees think like entrepreneurs. How to give them an ownership feeling in your business. The next week, what if my managers are part of the problem? The next week, those nitty-gritty details, making it second nature to sit down and give a disciplinary action to your employees. And then finally, when do I jump ahead and fire without warning an employee that they've done something wrong? Those are rare, but there are times that you've got to jump ahead in the disciplinary process. Now, so how much is this going to cost? Well, if you were to come meet me in my office and we were to go through this one-on-one, it would be $250 an hour. So this is 4 hours of training that you get to listen to over and over again. But what we're going to do, instead of it being $1,000 for my time. It's going to be $249 for you to have all 4 hours of this training that you can play back. And I'm going to take your questions throughout. As soon as you sign up, send me your questions. I want this to be the best training you've ever received to get all of your employees on the same page. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, then probably you do not have a full-time HR director back at your shop. This is going to be the most valuable training you can get. I am going to tell you, big picture, this is what to focus on. Based on my legal training, based on my law degree, based on my 13 years of training entrepreneurs and exactly how to do this, this is the shortcut for you to get your team all on the same page and to do it safely. Now, I know there's a lot of HR managers on my mailing list, and what I hear from HR managers all the time is, Melissa, I wish you could come talk to my business. I wish my managers, I wish my supervisors could hear you, and they could hear it from a lawyer why it's so important to do things the way I've been asking them to do it for so many years. So what I think you should do is have your managers and supervisors sign up for this course. Take it with them. Just all join together, take this course so that you can start 2015 out the right way. Now, in addition to these 4 1-hour courses that we're going to have, you're going to get as 3 bonuses, the 11 reasons never to discipline an employee, my decision tree for how you should choose the correct level of discipline, and then your third bonus is my mandatory elements for every formal disciplinary meeting so that you just have a checklist. So here's the deal. I knew that we had to get this in before the holidays, which is why we've pushed these 3 videos out. And again, it's going to be recorded. So if you can't make the live session, they're going to be available to you afterwards. You can attend at any time. If you want 2015 to be the year that you inspire your team, that you start getting everyone in your organization to do what you expect, then I want you to join us in this series. Also, to make it a little easier, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you go through all 4 webinars and I don't deliver on my promise or my 3 bonuses, then send me an email within 30 days of that last seminar date and we'll refund your $249. So there's really no risk. But I know you're going to love it. I was just on the phone with one of my clients today. I told her, look, I finally put this series together. You can get 4 Melissa hours for $249. And she said, sign me up. The people who have already been through my training, the managers and supervisors in the Atlanta area, are always just asking me to do more training. So I wanted to make it easy. So below this video is the link for GoToMeeting. If you found out about this through email, the link is in the email, and we're going to be putting the link out there through social media as well. So just sign up and join us for the 4 hours that are really going to show you how to get everyone in your organization on the same page, how to move toward the employees of your dreams. Thank you.